10 News begins with breaking news.
And we begin with breaking news. Police have captured the Tennessee teacher accused of kidnapping his student over a month ago. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Virginia Cha. Police arrested Tad Cummins in Northern California. They say his 15-year-old student, you see right there, Elizabeth Thomas, was with him. They have taken her to safety. The Siskiyou Sheriff's Department says they found his car in the Shasta Cascades near the Oregon border. Cummins is a married father and grandfather. His family publicly pleaded for him to come home. Investigators reportedly received a tip that the two were in a commune. 10 News will be staying on top of the breaking developments because they continue to come in here, and we'll get them to you as soon as we can. And we're staying on top of the bomb threat that shut down the main gate at NAS North Island. So it turned the morning commute into a mess for drivers going over the Coronado Bridge. 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala joining us live now. So Mimi, what's happening there now?
Virginia, Jason, several crews, including a bomb squad, are still investigating this threat, but we just learned minutes ago that someone went up to gate guards around 5 this morning and said they had reason to believe there was a bomb in their car. So that person was immediately questioned and is still being questioned right now. However, officials do not believe that there is a bomb in that car, but the trunk of the car is jammed, so they're keeping that gate closed until they can get that trunk open and search the rest of the car. Again, this happened this morning around 5 a.m. Crews quickly shut down that main gate entrance. As soon as that threat came in, cars were turned back around, but people who need to get onto the base were able to through the First and Ocean gates. They are still able to right now through those gates, but sailors and staff were asked to call their commands before heading to work today. The daycare center was also evacuated and then closed as a precaution. And to get to the Coronado Bridge, traffic was backed up for miles and miles. And once you were on that bridge, the drivers were stuck there for hours during the morning commute. Navy officials say this is something that they continue to see happening and will continue to train for.
Unfortunately, the world that we live in right now, especially here in San Diego, we get a lot of bomb threats. The Navy is a target, and we take these threats very, very seriously. Naval Base Coronado is really proud to be part of the Coronado community, and we appreciate everyone's understanding with the traffic this morning.
So right now we still don't know if the person who made this threat said that are a military person or if they're just a Coronado resident. We're still waiting to learn that information, but again, once they can finally get that trunk open, they will clear the area and open the main gate. Reporting live in Coronado, Mimi Alcala, 10 News.
We have breaking news on the mysterious death of a Coronado woman. The family of Rebecca Zahau, who was found hanging from the balcony of the Spreckels mansion, is dropping its civil lawsuit against two key players. Now, you may remember investigators ruled Zahau's death a suicide. Her family never believed that. This was just days after Zahau's boyfriend, Jonah Shacknai's young son, Max, died tragically when he fell in an accident at the mansion. So Zahau's family initially filed a wrongful death suit, accusing Shacknai's brother, Adam, his ex-wife, Dina, and her sister, Nina, of contributing to Zahau's death. Well, today, the Zahau family announced they are releasing the two women with prejudice from the lawsuit, and that basically means the Zahaus don't believe they had anything to do with Rebecca's death. Dina Shacknai, Max's mother, is relieved.
Because we have been innocent victims in all this, just as Maxie and Rebecca were victims.
Now, Dina Shacknai was cleared because of surveillance video that showed that she was at Rady Children's Hospital when Rebecca died. The Zahau family is moving ahead with the wrongful death lawsuit against the boyfriend's brother, Adam Shacknai, who found Rebecca's body at the mansion.
This news just broke this morning. District Attorney Bonnie Dumanis announced she will be resigning. She will leave in early July and consider a run for the County Board of Supervisors. She issued a statement which says, in part, having spent 30 years of my life in the DA's office, this has been a difficult decision. Bonnie Dumanis has been DA for almost 15 years.
And breaking news, heartbreak strikes again for the local family whose little boy died after getting rat bite fever from a pet rat. 10 News reporter Mary McKenzie spoke with Aiden Pankey's grandmother minutes after a jury chose not to side with the family's case against Petco.
Jason, Aiden Pankey's grandmother talked to us after what the family attorney and what she said was a disappointing outcome that she says sends a message that if you are buying from a big company like Petco, the message is buyer beware. Petco and Barney's, the distributor of the rat, were both found not guilty and not liable in the death of 10-year-old Aiden Pankey. He died in 2013 after getting the bacteria from his beloved pet rat. The family was asking for $20 million, but the jury said the case just didn't prove that Petco was responsible. The jurors we talked to said they looked at the facts of the case and ruled without taking emotion into account. For the family, the emotion of the case was coupled with their desire to get Petco to change its policies, giving people more warnings about the dangers and more testing for rat bite fever.
We're pushing the 4-year mark, and you never really move on. You kind of create a new reality for yourself, I guess, is what you have to do, and live with what is.
Says what really gets her is that Aiden loved his rat so much he wanted her to get to have a family, and that is why they got the second rat in the first place. Coming up at 11:30, hear what the family and their attorney are planning next. We're live downtown. Mary McKenzie, 10 News.
Well, very windy. Thank you, Mary. We have a breaking news update. A terrible end for two friends visiting the cliffs at Torrey Pines last night. They both fell off. The young woman of the two was hanging on in the pitch darkness, used her cell phone to call 911, but it ran out of power before she could tell rescuers where she was. The fire department, though, used her GPS to ping her location. They had to rappel down 75 feet to get her. What she didn't know was that her friend had fallen another 60 feet below her and had already died from his injuries.
These are very dangerous cliffs in the daytime. Trying to negotiate them during the nighttime hours with minimal light and probably not the proper footing or footwear can result in injuries and, of course, loss of life.
Rescuers did pull the woman up. She has minor injuries. The two, both just 23 years old. Happening today, companies that build the border wall could be punished. San Diego Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez-Fletcher is among those introducing new legislation. The bill would essentially punish companies providing goods or services for the wall. Exactly how this law will work is unclear. Several San Diego companies, as you may know, are bidding for the construction project. We'll bring you more details as soon as we get them. In a developing story, the White House is trying to keep up with foreign policy challenges, and that includes the dispute over the San Diego-based USS Carl Vinson and the Iran nuclear deal. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the story.
Today, the challenges and the test of President Trump's foreign policy met with tough talk by his administration.
Iran is the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson taking on the Iran nuclear deal.
This deal represents the same failed approach of the past that brought us to the current imminent threat we face from North Korea.
The deal expected to stay in place. Weeks ago, Tillerson told Congress Iran is holding up his end of the 2015 agreement. Former Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who's running again in an election next month, criticized the deal and the U.S. for military strikes on Syria, saying this war will certainly lead to the fall of the U.S. global dominance. Vice President Pence in Indonesia on his tour of Asia, a day after saying the U.S. stands at the ready against North Korea.
Of course, one of the greatest threats we face is the rise and spread of terrorism.
Secretary of Defense James Mattis in Egypt today, then Israel, shoring up those military relationships. The Trump administration taking on a number of provocations. This week, Russian bombers intercepted just 35 miles off the coast of Alaska. ABC News Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz on Russia's possible motives.
I think it's just to say, hey, we're here, we're still strong, we can come off the coast of Alaska.
On North Korea, Secretary Mattis, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the CIA director are expected to brief senators on Capitol Hill next week. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
Now, the White House had said last week the Carl Vinson strike group was headed to the Sea of Japan. Well, it turned out the carrier was actually headed in the opposite direction. The White House said it had bad guidance from the Defense Department.